You know, there's a question I've been thinking about a lot lately, one that might be on your mind, too. Why is it that so many people seem to hit their early 80s and suddenly, their health takes a turn? You might have noticed friends or loved ones who were doing just fine, and then, things changed. Maybe their energy dropped, or they started struggling with things that never used to be a problem. And if you're in your 60s, 70s, or beyond, I'll bet you've wondered, how can I make sure that doesn't happen to me? Well, today, we're going to talk about exactly that. Because the truth is, there are specific reasons why many elderly people don't live past 82, and more importantly, there are things you can do right now to change that trajectory. This isn't about fear or doom and gloom. It's about giving you the knowledge and tools to take control of your health, your energy, and your future. Now, I want you to think about your daily routine for a second. How do you start your mornings? What do you eat? How do you move your body? These might seem like small things, but they add up fast. And over time, they can make the difference between feeling vibrant at 85 or struggling through your later years. So, let's start with the first habit that can have a huge impact on your longevity, staying socially connected. You've probably heard that loneliness can be tough on the heart, but did you know it can be just as harmful as smoking? Studies show that seniors who stay socially active, whether it's through family, friends, or community groups, tend to live longer, healthier lives. It's not just about having people to talk to, though that's important. It's about feeling engaged, valued, and part of something bigger. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, but what if I don't have a big family nearby? What if my friends have moved away? Here's the good news, it's never too late to build new connections. Something as simple as joining a local senior center, volunteering, or even striking up conversations at the grocery store can make a difference. And if getting out is tough, technology can help. A quick video call with a grandchild or an old friend can lift your spirits and keep those connections strong. The second habit? Moving your body, but in the right way. You've probably heard that exercise is important, but after a certain age, how you move matters just as much as how often. Too many seniors make the mistake of either pushing themselves too hard, thinking they need to keep up with their younger selves, or not moving enough out of fear of getting hurt. The sweet spot? Gentle, consistent movement that keeps your muscles strong, your joints flexible, and your heart healthy. Walking is a fantastic place to start. Just 20 to 30 minutes a day can work wonders. But let's not forget about strength training. You don't need heavy weights or a gym membership. Simple exercises like seated leg lifts, standing up from a chair without using your hands, or even lifting light cans of soup can help maintain muscle mass. And here's why that's so important. After 60, we naturally start losing muscle, and that loss speeds up as we age. But the good news? It's never too late to slow it down, or even reverse it. Now, before we move on to the next habit, I want you to take a moment and think about these two things. Who can you reach out to today to strengthen your social connections? And what's one way you can add a little more movement into your routine? Because here's the thing, small steps lead to big changes. And the best part? You don't have to do it all at once. Just start where you are. And speaking of starting where you are, let's talk about the third habit, eating for longevity. Because what you put on your plate plays a huge role in how you'll feel, not just today, but years from now. But don't worry, this isn't about strict diets or giving up the foods you love. It's about making a few simple swaps that can add years to your life, and we'll dive into that next. Now, let's talk about food, because what you eat isn't just about filling your stomach. It's about fueling your body in a way that keeps you strong, sharp, and full of energy for years to come. And here's something you might not realize. Many of the health problems we assume are just part of getting older, like stiff joints, sluggish digestion, or even memory fog, can actually be influenced by what's on your plate. So, what does eating for longevity look like? First, let's focus on protein. As we age, our bodies don't absorb and use protein as efficiently as they used to. But protein is the building block for muscles, bones, and even your immune system. Without enough of it, you might notice you're weaker, slower to recover from illness, or just feeling more tired than usual. Now, you don't need to start eating massive steaks or choking down protein shakes. Simple, everyday foods like eggs, Greek yogurt, beans, or even a small portion of lean meat or fish can make a big difference. And here's a little trick. Try spreading your protein intake throughout the day instead of loading up at one meal. Maybe add some cottage cheese to your breakfast, a handful of nuts as a snack, or a piece of grilled chicken with dinner. Small changes, but they add up to a stronger, healthier you. Next up, fiber. If there's one thing that can quietly sabotage your health as you get older, it's a sluggish digestive system. Constipation isn't just uncomfortable, it can lead to bigger issues like bloating, inflammation, and even heart problems over time. But the fix is simple: more whole foods. Think fruits like apples and berries, vegetables like broccoli and carrots, and whole grains like oatmeal or brown rice. These foods keep everything moving smoothly, and they also feed the good bacteria in your gut, which, believe it or not, play a huge role in everything from your mood to your immune system. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but what if I don't like vegetables? Here's the good news: you don't have to eat salads every day to get the benefits. Try blending spinach into a smoothie, roasting veggies with a little olive oil and garlic. Roasting brings out their natural sweetness, or even sneaking some grated zucchini into soups or muffins. The key is to find ways to enjoy these foods, not force yourself to choke them down. And while we're on the topic of food, let's talk about something that might surprise you: hydration. It's one of those things that's easy to overlook, but as we age, our sense of thirst dulls. That means you might not realize you're dehydrated until you're already feeling sluggish, dizzy, or even confused. And dehydration can lead to serious problems like falls or urinary tract infections that land many seniors in the hospital. So, how much water should you be drinking? A good rule of thumb is to take your weight in pounds, divide it by 2, and aim for that many ounces per day. For example, if you weigh 150 pounds, try for about 75 ounces of water. But here's the thing: it doesn't all have to come from a glass. Soups, herbal teas, and water-rich foods like cucumbers, watermelon, or oranges count too. If plain water feels boring, try adding a slice of lemon, cucumber, or even a splash of fruit juice to make it more appealing. Now, let's move on to something just as important as what you eat: sleep. If you've noticed you're not sleeping as well as you used to, you're not alone. Our sleep patterns change as we age. We might wake up more often, have trouble falling asleep, or just feel like we're not getting that deep, restful sleep we remember from our younger years. But here's the problem: poor sleep doesn't just leave you groggy the next day. Over time, it can weaken your immune system, mess with your memory, and even increase your risk of heart disease. So, what can you do? First, try sticking to a consistent bedtime, even on weekends. Our bodies love routine, and going to bed and waking up at the same time every day helps regulate your internal clock. Next, pay attention to your evening habits. That after-dinner cup of coffee? It might be keeping you awake longer than you think. Caffeine can stay in your system for up to 8 hours. And that late-night TV binge? The blue light from screens can trick your brain into thinking it's still daytime, making it harder to wind down. Instead, try a calming bedtime ritual, like reading a book, a real one, not an e-reader, sipping caffeine-free tea, or doing some gentle stretches. And if you're still struggling, don't be afraid to talk to your doctor. Sometimes, simple adjustments, like changing a medication timing or treating an underlying issue like sleep apnea, can make a world of difference. Now, before we move on to the final habits, let's pause for a second. Think about your meals today. Did you get enough protein and fiber? Have you had enough water? And how was your sleep last night? These might seem like small things, but they're the foundation of a longer, healthier life. And the best part? You don't have to be perfect. Just a little better than yesterday is enough. Because here's the truth: aging isn't about decline, it's about adaptation. It's about learning what your body needs now and giving it just that. And when you do, you might be surprised at how much energy, strength, and joy you still have ahead of you. And speaking of joy, that brings us to our next habit, one that's just as important as diet and exercise, but often gets overlooked. Now, let's talk about something that doesn't get nearly enough attention when we discuss longevity: your mindset. You might not realize it, but how you think about aging plays a massive role in how well you age. Studies have shown that seniors who view getting older as a natural, even rewarding part of life tend to stay healthier and more active than those who see it as nothing but decline. It's not just positive thinking, it's science. Stress, worry, and feeling like your best years are behind you can actually speed up cellular aging. But embracing this chapter with curiosity and purpose, that can add years to your life. So, how do you cultivate that kind of mindset? Start by finding something that gives you a sense of meaning. Maybe it's mentoring younger people, gardening, painting, or even writing down family stories to pass along. When you wake up with something to look forward to, it changes everything: your energy, your posture, even the way your brain functions. And don't be afraid to try new things. Learning keeps your mind sharp. Ever thought about picking up a musical instrument, taking a class at your local community center, or finally tackling that hobby you never had time for? Now's the perfect moment. Next up, preventive care. Here's a hard truth: many seniors wait until something hurts or breaks before seeing a doctor. But by then, small issues have often become big problems. Think of your body like a car. You wouldn't wait for the engine to smoke before changing the oil, right? Regular checkups, screenings, and even simple blood tests can catch things like vitamin deficiencies, thyroid issues, or early signs of diabetes long before they cause serious damage. And don't skip those vision and hearing tests either. Falls, a major risk as we age, often happen because someone didn't see a step or missed a warning call. Staying on top of these things isn't about being paranoid, it's about staying independent and active for as long as possible. Now, let's address the elephant in the room: medications. If you're like many seniors, you might be taking several prescriptions. But here's what doctors don't always tell you: medications interact differently as you age. Something you've taken for years might suddenly cause dizziness, confusion, or other side effects that get dismissed as just aging. That's why it's crucial to do a yearly medication review with your doctor or pharmacist. Ask, is this still the right dose for me now? Are there any interactions I should know about? Could any of these be contributing to issues like fatigue or memory slips? Sometimes, adjusting or even eliminating certain medications, under professional guidance, of course, can feel like getting a whole new lease on life. Finally, let's talk about your environment. Many elderly people unintentionally set themselves up for struggle by not adapting their homes as their needs change. Throw rugs that slide, bathrooms without grab bars, poor lighting — these aren't just minor inconveniences. They're accident risks that can lead to life-altering injuries. Take an afternoon to walk through your home with fresh eyes. Could you add a shower seat? Lower those shelves you strain to reach? Replace dim bulbs with brighter LED lights? These tweaks aren't about giving in to age, they're about outsmarting it. The goal is to keep doing what you love, just with a little more ease and safety. So, let's bring it all together. Living past 82 and thriving while you do it isn't about luck or genetics alone. It's about the choices you make every single day. Staying connected to others. Moving your body with care. Eating foods that nourish you. Prioritizing sleep and hydration. Protecting your mindset like the treasure it is. Being proactive with your health. And setting up your surroundings to support, not hinder, your independence. None of this requires perfection. Start with one small change, maybe drinking an extra glass of water today or calling an old friend tomorrow. Then build from there. You've already lived through decades of changes. This is just one more chapter where you get to write the script. And remember, you're not just adding years to your life. You're adding life to your years. That's what matters most. So here's to you, to your health, and to all the adventures still ahead. If this resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What's one thing you'll try this week to invest in your longevity? And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more tips on living your best life at any age. Until next time, take care, stay strong, and keep shining. You've got this.